The African buffalo stands motionless under the blazing sun, but there is no comfort in this stillness. Its thick hide ripples in sudden, involuntary spasms as dozens of ticks burrow into the skin around its neck, ears, and belly. The buffalo cannot escape this discomfort. It shakes its massive head, stamps its feet, and swings its tail in a losing battle against parasites it cannot see and cannot remove. Within moments, it will do what it always does when the irritation becomes unbearable: seek out water, mud, or dust, anything that might offer even a brief moment of relief. But relief is already on its way, and it arrives on wings. A small bird descends from a nearby tree, landing directly on the buffalo's back without hesitation. This is the oxpecker, a bird no larger than a sparrow with a sharp orange-red beak built for exactly this moment. It does not wait or circle cautiously. It walks straight onto the buffalo's hide as if the massive animal beneath it were simply solid ground, already searching for the source of all that irritation. The African buffalo is one of the most powerful animals on the savanna, weighing up to 900 kilograms, with horns fused into a solid shield across its skull. Few predators dare challenge a healthy adult buffalo head-on. Yet for all its strength, this massive body cannot solve a problem as small as a tick. Buffalo skin, though thick, is folded and creased in places, behind the ears, along the neck, across the belly, where blood vessels sit close to the surface. These folds create perfect shelter for parasites, and once ticks settle in, the buffalo has almost no way to remove them on its own. The oxpecker moves towards exactly these places, behind the ears, along the neck folds, across the belly, and begins to search. Watch closely and you can see its beak working methodically through the buffalo's coarse hair, parting it strand by strand until it finds a cluster of ticks feeding just beneath the surface. One by one, the bird plucks them free, swallowing each parasite as a meal. What looks like simple grooming is, in fact, one of nature's most efficient partnerships, a relationship shaped over countless generations to benefit both species involved. The irritation had built throughout the day. Before the bird's arrival, the buffalo may have waded into a muddy waterhole, submerging itself up to the shoulders, hoping the water would drown or loosen the parasites clinging to its skin. It may have dropped to the ground and rolled violently in dust or dry dirt, coating its hide in a layer meant to smother ticks and flies. It may have rubbed its neck and horns against tree trunks and termite mounds, scratching at spots it could not otherwise reach. None of these methods fully solved the problem. The relief was always temporary, and the parasites often returned within hours. Only the oxpecker offers something closer to a lasting solution. Left unmanaged, a heavy tick burden does more than cause irritation. Parasites feed on blood, and in large numbers, they can weaken an animal over time, making it more vulnerable to infection and added stress, particularly during dry seasons when food and water are already scarce. For a herd animal that depends on strength and stamina to keep pace with the group and avoid predators, this slow drain matters. For the oxpecker, the buffalo is far more than a resting place. It is a constant, reliable source of food. A single bird can consume dozens of ticks in a day, and where one oxpecker appears, others often follow, spreading out across different parts of the same animal to feed at once. For the buffalo, this means fewer parasites embedded in its skin, less irritation, and a reduced risk of the health problems that come with heavy infestations. This exchange is known as mutualism, a relationship in which two very different species both gain something essential. The buffalo receives a form of natural pest control it could never achieve alone. The oxpecker receives a steady, abundant food source that requires little effort to access. Neither species consciously chose this arrangement. It developed slowly over thousands of years because buffalo that carried fewer parasites were healthier, and birds that fed this way survived more easily than those that did not. But the story does not end with cleaning alone. Oxpeckers also serve as an early warning system for the herd. Their eyesight is sharp, and their reactions are fast. The moment danger approaches, whether a predator moving through the grass or any sudden disturbance nearby, the birds release a loud, piercing call and burst into flight. Buffalo react instantly to this signal, often before they can see the threat themselves. In this way, the oxpecker becomes an extra set of eyes for an animal that spends much of its day with its head lowered, focused on grazing rather than watching the horizon. This partnership reveals something important about how ecosystems function. No species survives entirely on its own. Every animal is connected to others around it, through competition, through predation, or through cooperation like this one. The relationship between buffalo and oxpecker did not appear overnight. It formed gradually, shaped by the simple reality that animals offering mutual benefit tend to thrive together, while those that do not eventually drift apart. Yet this balance faces growing challenges. As buffalo populations shift due to habitat loss, changing land use, and disease, oxpeckers lose access to one of their primary food sources and safest perching grounds. A decline in buffalo numbers does not only affect the buffalo, it ripples outward, disrupting a partnership that countless generations of birds have depended on for survival. Researchers and conservationists studying African wildlife increasingly recognize that protecting a single species rarely tells the whole story. Understanding the health of an ecosystem means understanding the relationships within it, the birds, the parasites, the grazing animals, and the delicate balance that connects them all. Monitoring oxpecker populations, in fact, can offer valuable insight into the health of buffalo herds themselves, since fewer birds often signal fewer animals for them to rely on. As the afternoon sun begins to lower, the buffalo continues grazing, its earlier discomfort now noticeably eased. The oxpecker still rides along its back, occasionally pausing to pick at one last remaining tick before settling into a calm, steady rhythm alongside its enormous companion. It is a quiet, ongoing partnership, repeated across the savanna every single day, rarely noticed, yet essential to the survival of both. In the end, this relationship offers a simple but powerful lesson. Even the strongest, most heavily armored animals cannot manage everything alone. Sometimes relief comes not through strength, but through cooperation, through a small bird willing to do the work a giant cannot do for itself. And in that quiet exchange between buffalo and oxpecker, nature reminds us once again that survival in the wild is rarely a solitary effort, but a continuous, evolving partnership between the smallest and the largest lives sharing the same land.